Okay. Meeko TV land, over 1 million followers. Okay, y'all. So today on Meeko TV, we sit down with the beauty, entrepreneur, and fearless voice in the community, Kim Roxie, to talk about a heartbreaking and terrifying incident out of Boulder, Colorado. What began as a peaceful pro Israel walk ended in horror when multiple people were reportedly set on fire during a violent attack on a shopping mall. We asked Kim to give us her raw and honest thoughts as both as a leader and as a human being. Kim, what you have to say about that?
First of all, Meeko, I just want to say thank you for having me here on Meeko TV. But first, let me acknowledge and let me give my heartfelt thoughts to the families there in Boulder, in Colorado. This horrific attack that happened at Pearl Street Mall was one that no family should have to get a phone call from, that no one should be at risk of coming into this type of harm or danger just by going to the shopping mall. And that's where it really shows up and really kind of speaks out to me, being in a business of retail, and always having consumers coming out to retail shopping experiences that I'm putting on for customers, and to think that they be put in danger like this. People are coming out to shop. It's Sunday, and a lot of cultures and places, it's a family day. And though there was peaceful protests happening, and it was one in which it was diverse in people that were there that were participating, and the participants, that it would turn out in this way. Um, I am just horrified at this. I mean, no one, absolutely no one. The people that went to Pearl Street Mall on today had no expectation that it would end in this way.
That's correct. That's correct. So, Kim, when you first heard about this attack in Boulder, where people were reportedly set on fire during a peaceful event, what was your immediate emotional reaction?
Well, let me tell you, I found out about this through you. Here on Meeko TV, I just found out about this. And let me tell you what I was doing. I was just leaving from the commemoration of the Tulsa Race Massacre, where 40 blocks of thriving Black businesses, Black residential area was set on fire by white mobs, by perpetrators that accused one Black gentleman of assaulting a white female on an elevator. Dick Raleigh was accused of touching Sarah, who was on the elevator. And, it comes to account back after it was all over. She said that it never happened. But because of that, it incited um, the hate that came from um, individuals of Caucasian skin at the time that set this neighborhood, this thriving Black neighborhood, on fire. So when I heard from you that this happened at Pearl Street Mall in Boulder, Colorado, I initially was just like, are you kidding me? Like, we just came from commemorating 104 years ago that this area in Greenwood called Black Wall Street was set on fire because of hate. And now you're telling me 104 years later that in Boulder, Colorado, people were set on fire because of what comes out the sum of the same thing, hate, the sum of this. This is disheartening. This is just, I'm thinking to myself, what haven't we learned yet? What
Mhm.
haven't we learned yet? What haven't we learned yet? And so this just really came in as a true shock, especially after just leaving a big convening and a big gathering with the mayor of Tulsa, where community leaders, national presence was there. for this sort of beyond apology that the mayor rolled out. $105 million Greenwood Trust Fund has been put in place, and they're going to be planning to allocate dollars to the descendants and the residents of Tulsa, Oklahoma, to repair from 104 years ago. So I bring that back to what happened on today, and the victims, multiple victims that were burned. This is this makeshift flamethrower that this suspect did in the name of, and from what my understanding, he shouted "Free Palestine." This is just, when we think about peaceful protests, when we think about those things, this is just not the way.
That's right. As someone who influences and uplifts others, did you ever feel the pressure to speak out when the world feels unsafe or chaotic?
You know what? I didn't realize how much I would have to. I would have to. Um, I think number one, I was just telling someone the reason why I started a makeup line was to bring justice uh, and equity to the beauty industry for a people who have not been treated justly. So, and people who have not had equity. So, when I think about the overlooked community in the beauty industry, women that look like myself, and I created products that would, give us a face, give us a voice. And so, when things like this happen, and me sort of speaking out and everything, it just makes me think about when COVID-19 happened, and I was launching my makeup brand nationally, but I was doing it online. And I was excited, but honestly, I was also met with devastation. It was COVID-19. It was things that were happening that we didn't know what was the next step, what was going to happen next. People dying around us. We're hearing about it. You catch a virus, you don't come back from the hospital. We were afraid. I mean, tormented. And that terror almost gripped me of my voice. I almost did not turn on that camera, just like now, Facebook Live, social media. I almost didn't turn on the camera, but I did because I said, you know what? I want to bring joy in a time where people are hurting. And that's what I did. And it ended up landing me in a position of now, our products in multiple different places across the country. But terror and torment almost choked my voice before. And so I realized that in a face of defeat like this, we need to hear a voice of one of sustainability, one of victory. And we also need to use our voice as one to let people know that we will make it through this. And so I'm just so happy that I did not let terror and torment choke me in that moment.
In a moment like this where hate becomes violence, what do you tell your own community about protecting their peace and staying grounded?
Yeah, I say, targeted acts of violence um, and are just all around us. Sometimes it feels like this story here comes out today. What I told you, I just left from Greenwood here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was a targeted act of violence. Um, those kind of things are one that we must stand up and stand strong in the moment. And we must follow through
Mhm,
on what we believe to be true. And that is that hate does not have a home here
mhm,
and that love does. And how do we uh, persevere? How are we a resilient community in these times? And so, in these moments, I also would like to say that we must raise up. I know we're coming out of May. Today's June 1st, but we got to think about May was Mental Health Awareness Month. We have to think about these things. We have to think about uh, diversity in voice. We have to think about how we um, collect our voices and how we hear people and let people know that they matter and that we see them and we hear them. But definitely I think that we have to shine a light back on mental health awareness as well. But definitely, hate has no home here.
That's correct. You know, Kim, social media can amplify both pain and healing. How do you personally use your platform to help people process tragedies like this?
You know, that's right. Sometimes you look on social media and it makes you feel good. You see something, you see a positive thought, you see an optimistic, you see someone doing something inspirational. You see someone tell their testimony, something happened, their journey, and it is healing for you. And then, based on social norms, social pressures, there's social media can really amplify or magnify, should I say, your pain, your pain of, not having a loved one sitting at your table, who you miss or you lost. It could be that a relationship that went sour that you cared about, or in this matter, an attack that happened, that plagued your community. And now social media is all talking about it, and it's getting you, and it's inciting even more fear and everything inside of you. So I must say that in times like this, I like to think of things in somewhat of a balance. That there is going to be joy and pain. There is going to be a time where you're singing, and then there's sorrow. There's going to be a time where your pain then transfers into purpose. Then there's going to be where your purpose will get a platform. And then there's going to be where your platform then perpetuates that purpose. And then it's like this cycle. So I would say that a lot of it derives around pain, going into purpose, platform, and that platform then taking its own legs and being able to go out and do and permeate, communities of the way it should. And so I know that nobody wants to go through it. Nobody looks forward to it. Nobody has it on their calendar, you know. But when it shows up, I do believe that we can get some type of purpose from it, that then can do uh, more more better than harm to us. So that's just my take there. And I must say also that it is undescribable. It is indescribable when you have these type of shocking, sort of, just disheartening, you know, chaotic situations that happen. And that's when, again, that community force kind of, we got to hover each other. We got to
Mhm.
hover each other and sort of collectively get through this together.
That's correct. Kim, I'd like to thank you for coming on today. And that's right, folks. Me and Kim will be on every night, the same night, talking about these issues. And I know Kim is just hearing this for the first time that she'll be on. Thank you for shaking your head like that, Kim. So you're on the platform with 1 million followers.
I just
Uh,
I just can't. I mean, you tonight we said we were setting up this show, and then this happens. And
mhm,
I don't take it lightly, Meeko, that we go from literally you're telling me this news, and I'm leaving from a commemoration of the largest domestic terror attack on US soil
mhm,
that people covered up.
mhm,
People are not even aware of the Tulsa Race Massacre. If you listen for the first time, please look it up. But people intentionally covered it up.
mhm.
And so what you're doing and with this platform and what's happening is that we are making people aware sometimes of what is not always accessible information. and we're talking about some of those topics, and how do we, in some way, um, come through this healed rather than more harmed, and how do we actually move from only pain to purpose? How do we inspire when we are in dire need, in that moment? And that's what I kind of think about now, is just, how do we inspire when we feel, we're in a dire need of our own thing, but I'm just excited that we are here. People get to hear from me more. They get to hear from you. Me having a beauty company, I think sometimes it's mistaken that it's just superficial looks, um, and people don't understand that I got into the beauty industry to bring equity and justice to the industry. So I really got into this out of my own painful experiences in the beauty industry. And it put a purpose and a passion behind all of my works. And so tonight is just, even more a glimpse into who I am as a person, and my role, because having a beauty company, sustaining people in hard times, sustaining people when they feel ugly, or when they feel not beautiful, or when they feel like, the world has really tore them down. Um, and we have to lift them up, and we want to lift them up. That really has certified me in the areas in which for me to use my voice now. So thank you so much. And again, my hearts and thoughts go out to the families there and the victims there in Boulder, Colorado. But I definitely think an even larger conversation around how people protest, and then also security in these shopping areas where families are going, like a day like Sunday, uh, has to definitely increase as well, because no one should come into this type of life or death situation in a time when they're out enjoying on a Sunday afternoon.
As I close, I want to say, even in moments of darkness, voices like Kim Roxie remind us that healing begins with honesty and a heart. Thank you, Kim, for showing us what strength and compassion look like. Y'all stay connected to Meeko TV for more voices, more stories, and the truth behind the headlines. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.